Hello everyone and welcome to the stream. This is Otaku Showboat. Today is Thursday, July 4th, 2019. Happy Independence Day for everyone in the US, myself included. Oh boy. So today is more of the Pyanodon's playthrough. The plan for today is to get lead set up. I mean, let's face it, there's a lot to get done today and going into the future. There is so much more to do. Now that I have Niobium, a lot is opened up for us. Niobium enables quite a lot. However, I'm just going to repair here. However, before going into processes that actually use the niobium, oh, and I should mention right off the start here, I have turned off the decorations. If you go into settings, graphics, there's show decoratives here. I have turned that off just because, well, I don't like rocks. It's hard to tell in alien biomes, in patches of rocks, the difference between the decorative elements of rocks and the actual rocks themselves. So I have turned decoratives off now. And just for full disclosure, I only realized that that was a thing when watching, when I started watching Nilaus's Hive playthrough of the game. So that was a thing, because I noticed that he had the decorations off, and I was like, oh, that's actually convenient. More so than for performance, it's convenient just to make out what exactly is a rock. So, we have our first niobium plates, which means that we also have the first of the niobium pipes. Now, I'm going to say that I sort of spoiled this for myself beforehand, right before the stream, because I was impatient. As it turns out, the length on these is 32. It doesn't tell you in the recipe information here, but the actual length for the pipe to grounds is 32, which is more than the default for Bob's nitinol pipes, or I should say, for the highest tier of Bob's pipe to grounds. So, the highest tier on Bob's pipe to grounds, I think, is a gap of 26. It's set to 27 as the full length. Here, for these, it's a gap of 31. So that makes these absolutely worth making. Absolutely worth making. Not so much the actual pipes themselves, because there's no real point on the pipes themselves. Oh, and this doesn't tell me what the capacity is on these pipes either. I'm just going to assume that their capacity is 100. So that will save on sheer number of pipes. I should continue to use the iron pipes for this setup whenever I need to do this braiding of the piped grounds, but whenever I need to go over distance, that's when I should start really using the niobium pipes. Now, I could go about and spend a long time just replacing all of my pipes, but I want to actually get things done during my streams, so we'll leave things as they are for the moment. Because really, I want to get lead done next. Now, I do have an idea of how much of each specific building I will need when I do lead. I just need to find a good lead, longer-term lead patch. This is unfortunately not going to be big enough on that lead. I have a good spot for more iron there. That is good to know. So just looking for lead on the map somewhere. Somewhere convenient. Lots of oil sand. There's a good sized lead patch right near some stone and some coal and other things. Is there a closer one, though? Because that is a bit of a hike. Is there one over here somewhere? Not really seeing any. There's one way up there. Alright, well, I guess I have the lead patch. That will be you. Pretty sure I haven't marked... Oh, here. Hello. That's a 6.5. This is an 11. This one's bigger. I mean, denser than this one. The distance from the bus... I mean, in terms of straight line distance, this one, I think, wins. Although, depending on how I do this processing, I don't necessarily need to do the processing over here of the lead. So the lead is going to need automated screeners, impact crushers, secondary crushers, electric arc furnaces, casting unit, and advanced foundry, because I'm also going to be turning some of it into silver. So I need to head on over to grab you'd think I'd be able to actually see the rocks now and try to avoid them, but nope. Not gonna happen. It's not gonna stop. At all. Okay, and I think I set up my plans for lead based off of a full yellow belt of input. This is a mining time of 200%, which means you need 60 mining drills. operating in order to get 15 per second. And if a mining operation is 0.25, a quarter per second, that means it's 2.5 acetylene per operation by 60 drills, which is 150 units of acetylene consumed. I will need to grab more mining drills, clearly. And then I need 7 automated screeners. Where are those again? Those are the... Oh, I always forget. Automated screeners. It's in high fusion energy. Alright. Oh, and I should also note that last time I talked about how the titanium chain to get to the molten titanium, while you have access to the recipe for molten titanium at Green Science Tech, part of the chain requires the building called the jig, and the jig doesn't get unlocked, or didn't get unlocked at the time until Blue Science. That has been now moved to Mining Machines 2 as its unlock, although I don't think that the ingredients for it have changed. Now, the ingredients for it, if you have the ingredients for it, you basically already also have Blue Science, so that effectively changes nothing at all in this. Let's see, I need 7 of these. So that's a little unfortunate, because that really does not impact anything. Because it requires circuit 2s. Also, I will need to... Oh, I don't need to reset it. Hello. It has appeared for me. So, this requires stainless steel, circuit 2s, assembling machine dues, niobium, and electric engine units. Well, I think the electric engine units I can make. Just add lubricant and advanced small parts. Advanced small parts are... I can remember which tab has the small parts in it. Which one was that again? Advanced small parts. It's in petroleum handling. This one is nylon, belt, bolts, stainless steel. I'm making nylon. I can make belt, because I have rubber. Okay. Stainless steel. Stainless steel is the only other thing here, and stainless steel, I think, can currently be made. In fact, I'm pretty sure I'll need to make it as part of Circuit 2s at some point anyway. That is right here. Aramid, molten stainless steel, niobium, ferrochromium. I would need to start mining nickel and sulfur. Otherwise, I can make that just fine. But you're sort of getting the idea here with the jig, because its requirements, by the time you get all of that stuff, you're making Blue Science, so it originally being locked behind Blue Science sort of had made sense, but just simply moving it to an earlier tech still. I don't think that changes much of anything, because you're still waiting for blue science anyway. And why it requires assembling machine 2s is odd to me. By the way, as soon as I get to stainless steel, I can make oil refineries, I can make advanced small parts at that point. This would mean I would have to mine nickel. Anyway, enough about all of that. I need additional screeners. I spend a lot of time just discussing the chains rather than actually doing work on them. So how about actually doing some of the work? Now, part of me wants to set up automation of niobium pipe. Bring the niobium over and start that up, but I want to start spending the streams focusing on the goal for the day, and then spend the rest of the time doing the other more mundane stuff. I don't want to start with mundane stuff anymore. Why does it shift C away? That's 7. I need 2 impact crushers. Those are these guys. I should automate some tinned cable at some point. I need a secondary crusher, which is here. Electric arc furnaces are there. Need to grab some of my stone. Then it's just a casting unit, and I should have advanced boundaries. Alright. That should technically be all I need. Where is my nearest car? Right up here. I'm going to grab the car, and then it looks like I have to go grab more power. Stuff and things. Why is my vehicle snap? Why is this new task there? It should be vehicle snap. I don't know, something about changing between mods so very often might be the reason. The root cause of that. Okay, you. I need to put away these guys. Just clean out some of the stuff. Alright. more. Oh, I have a small. I don't need smalls. I need big slash medium. I could make big now. I have the niobium. I could start making big electric poles. You know, that might be a good reason to run the niobium over right now, so that I can start automating the big electric poles. So, in fact, I'm going to just make a few right now, and like grab this copper, keep making it until I use up all of the niobium I have sitting around in my inventory, because this is far more convenient. And it's only one niobium plate per pole. Actually, no, I think I just made a sufficient amount, somewhat sufficient amount, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to come down here, add on to this network. So I've got a tar patch down here. I think I have a... Of course I run into a soul rock. I think... Do I have a radar down here? I would like to put a radar down here. Now, this is sufficiently close to this lead that I can take this. Why? And down I go. I was extremely tempted to just get nanobots, get the nanobots mod going. Pretty sure I'm not using nanobots in this particular playthrough, but it was incredibly tempting to just get them so that I can destroy all of these rocks and have my revenge early. But no, it will be sweet revenge when I start running around with my personal roboport and have a whole bunch of robots. Ooh, and there's a nickel reserve right there. I need to, like, disable the X button, that it doesn't shift my hot bar ever. That is, like, a very bad idea. Alright, here is this lead patch. Now I have to figure out a way of getting 60 mining drills on it. How do I want to orient things? That's 30. Do I want this oriented this way? Would I rather have more shorter rows? Maybe. Think I'll have shorter rows for this. And let's not forget I'll also have to run the acetylene over. Fortunately, I just happened to have gotten a whole bunch of niobium pipe. So, that's 30. And that is 60, I think. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Question is, now, how am I able to then shorten this a bit? That's 4, 4, 5, 5. As that removes the need for this. And then don't like that density. Trying to keep things somewhat balanced, but doesn't look like that's gonna completely happen. Remember, in the end, it's all going to only be a single yellow belt, regardless. And technically speaking, if I do lane balancing on the ones that are not inherently balanced, I mean, realistically speaking, I should probably just lane balance everything regardless. And that should be inherently balanced with a 1 out. So then I have to think about power, and I have to think about feeding the acetylene in, because 60... It will not need 300, and it will not produce 30. It will produce half of that, because mining time is 200%, so 15 and 150. Now, power. Do I have enough undergrounds? We shall see. We shall see if I have enough undergrounds for this. You know, it would help if this would actually be connected. That's actually pretty convenient on the spacing. One more set. Okay, and then the acetylene. Probably easier to line up the acetylene on this side rather than the other. So you will need to be a thing. Also, remember to keep things oriented on the short distances with iron. Only use the iron on short. That should be all of that. Then it's niobium all the way. Then as for how I will hook up the acetylene, I'll likely just... Well, this might be a little tricky. So my acetylene is way back somewhere over here. Where even is it? Oh, acetylene, wherefore art thou? I am making it here. This lane. So yeah, it only goes left. So I need to bring it right all the way over. This is the very first item on the bus, so that's going to work. That's going to work just fine. I'll bring it, hop it over this, and bring it all the way down to where it needs to be. I just need to get into my car, and off we shall go. Now, the important thing here is, am I producing enough acetylene to feed this? And honestly, I have no idea off the top of my head. I don't really remember how much acetylene I'm producing. My god, distance of 31 tiles is... Hello, water. Of course. Of course. Freaking course. Please, please. Yes! It's just enough. It's just enough. I did not realize there was water here. It's Just enough. Oh my, that is a little bit less health than a regular pipe. It has a third less health than regular pipes, so that's going to be fun. Breaking all of my niobium pipes all the time. I can already see it happening. Alright, how far up am I going here? A lot more. A lot more, to the point where I will probably be needing even more niobium pipe. Yeah, I will need a fair bit more. Off I go. I guess I will just, Why does my Alexa keep going off? It's set to a different word to go off, and I'm pretty sure I'm not saying that word. Alright, am I carrying around any automated factories? Only one. Can I make another? Yes I can. I went way past where I needed to go. That's a lot of copper. So it will be a bit of a hike to get out here, but I'm just gonna set this up for the niobium. And I'm going to store it. Wow, 7.5 to feed into this at a full 1.5 per second. Sheesh. You'd have to surround it with 5 just to feed into it, which is... yeah, that's a lot per second. I'm producing less than that. I am making less than that. It's official. This is why I usually end up having... no, not the advanced foundry, please. Whenever I set up pipe arrangements or automation, I usually do it with an extra pipe off to the side. Regular pipe off to the side. Just to speed up this a little bit. So this will give me all of the beautiful niobium pipe I could ever want or desire. Not going to really bother siphoning off the regular pipe at this point in time. Even though, technically speaking, this is probably going to be better than the iron pipe. I mean, ultimately, I don't think it really matters, to be completely honest. Like, well, what resources go into making the niobium pipe versus the iron pipe, and thinking about it realistically, the iron needs, of course, all of the iron stuff. It needs oxygen, it needs borax and sand castings, and it goes through a whole... Well, right now, the current process I'm doing is just the initial molten iron. I could go a little bit further on it for a bit better production, though it's not really necessary at the moment. Likely when I transition over to molten steel and molten stainless steel, that will be when it would be a lot better to do the other, the next step after G1, or processed iron. So in the end, I think it's actually more ingredients going into the iron than it is going into this niobium, although it is taking these fluids, which... It looks like I actually need organic solvent, so I'm not producing any more of the niobium. Oh boy, well, I guess that would be the response. Like, oh, yeah, you need organic solvent. Maybe I should work on that. That would be ideal. Alright, let's do the finding of the pipe, which is really hard. It's really hard to find where you left off sometimes on pipe. Here we go. Going up. Need to continue to go up. Yeah, I think once I set this up, my remaining time will be spent on improving the... or like replacing stuff. That will be what I start to do. Right, I have niobium, so I can actually... I can start doing the better organic solvent recipe now with out of acetone, because that building to do that required niobium. Like, oh hey, the thing that gives me the stuff to make more niobium requires niobium, so yeah, let's do that once I finish with my lead. Now, I came here for moving the lane 1, which is my acetylene. Now, I'm not in a car just because you see how much pipe is here? Do you see how much pipe is here? It's like, replacing all of this with niobium is absolutely on the agenda. That will make things so much easier. Easier to drive through and around, yet I know for a fact that I'm still going to run into stuff. And this looks really cool too, although Yeah, it's just really shiny. It's really shiny. I think this wins. Although it doesn't really... That top... Yeah, that line there, that graphic on the connection between the iron and the niobium is off. It's ugly. There's no, for some reason the iron doesn't have its little connector on it, or at least it doesn't match up well. That's a little sad. So, with a gap of 31, yeah, that just so happens to be larger than this whole section of the bus. So, that's nice. Now, of course, as I go further back and I'm trying to bring stuff in, I will need probably one junk, like, little section of piped ground, but oh my goodness, that is pretty awesome. So, how far am I going? Where is the input? Way over here. And this pipe is there. I should use iron for this. Hey, it's acetylene now. I didn't... Where is my nearest car? Now, considering there's not, like, zero acetylene now... Oh, whoa, whoa. That is a value greater than 100. How much fluid is in these pipes? Can flow through these pipes? $400 units? Doesn't that mean the throughput through these pipes is awful? Because of how bad fluid mechanics are in this game? Because you can't increase the pressure on the back end realistically to actually make use of the extra space in these pipes. This needs to be set to 100 to match the throughput of the regular pipes. Sorry, but that's just bad. Very bad that it's 400. Because that ultimately just slows the rate of flow. So I can't use niobium pipes for anything of high volume ever. Anything that I actually need high volume of throughput for, I can't use these pipes because 400, I don't know if the math works out such that 4 times as high of capacity is 4 times less throughput, but I'm just going to assume that's the case and say, well, if a normal pipe at 100 unit capacity moves at 1200 units per second, that's an oversimplification of things, by the way, because it doesn't take the distance into account, which the game does take distance into account, apparently. If it's 1200 units per second, things don't cause problems with regular iron pipe, so at a fourth of that, yeah, so 300 per second? 300 units per second? I don't know. Don't know about how much I like that as a cap on throughput before problems arise. Because my guess is that problems will arise at 300 units of fluid per second. Just my initial guess. And it looks like that... Yeah, I am not making even remotely close to enough acetylene to feed 60 thingies. So I'll need to scale up the acetylene to actually get a yellow belt's throughput out of this. Assuming I can even move 150 units per second of acetylene through niobium pipe because of its 400 unit capacity per segment. Alright, even though I like the pipe to ground distance on those niobium pipes, I am definitely not liking the limitation on the throughput because of its size. There is good reason why Bob modified all of the pipes added in the mod that adds all of the pipes back to that they're all the same in terms of the capacity. They all went to 100 with good reason. So, this chain is 5 screeners at the start. Now, I haven't taken into consideration dealing with any of the byproducts as of yet. So grade 1 lead. Grade 1 lead makes 2 and 1. 2 becomes... two is in the impact crusher. I will build upwards, sure, why not? 2 gets converted into 1 at half the rate, produces stone, so I have to deal with the stone. Then it's the screeners again. Into grade 3. Oh, wait, no, this is grade 1 into grade 2 and stone, and this is grade 2 into grade 3. So all of the grade 1 comes in here to give half of it as grade 2. And I do hope that the spacing is right here, because this would just be like... you produce stone, so I need a splitter to split off stone. Alternatively, the lead. G2 lead through that one. And this needs to feed into that with an input priority on the right. That'll be stone, and this will be that. Next is secondary crusher. Turning that grade 3 into dust. This makes... this also makes grade 1 from 3. So you keep feeding back in the grade 1 into here until eventually you get grade 2, or nothing. And then that goes into 3 or 1, and then that into this singular thingy. Produces dust. Then the dust is what will be converted with borax and graphite into molten lead. Borax, graphite. Sand castings? Electric arc furnace. I need 2 of these. Molten lead, borax, and graphite. Yes. Plus lead dust. I have those, and then I also have then the casting unit making the lead. Now, I do want to look at this casting unit for a second or so. Stainless steel, yeah. Molten. I will want to do that chromium recipe at some point. But anyway, that's the lead. And an advanced foundry, oddly enough. I also want... not for lead, but for silver. And I'll also need the hot air, so I can bring hot air in. Yeah, that's, as they say, that I will need to bring down borax, graphite, sand castings. If I really want to. I have a convenient coal patch there so that I can kill stone via burners, as I generally do. Let's see, if I'm not mistaken... yeah. So this may not seem like a lot of machines compared to, I don't know, copper before adjusting to the recent changes in the copper chain. But even things like going into coke or going into tin here, look at how many machines just for tin, and then how many machines just for glass production, how many machines here, and how many... I mean, niobium actually was relatively simple compared to the other stuff. It just required the refined syngas as the big major input. This requires complex inputs. That's what makes niobium more difficult. And then zinc. Again, zinc is so simple. But even this requires a lot more machines, I think, than ultimately this molten lead. This is like the least amount of machines to get into molten of any other process thus far. Which is convenient. I like this. I think everything else should be balanced around this as the ideal. Okay, out. So you make grade 1 and grade 2. I need to filter the lead. Alright, I'm here, grade 1 to the right. That is exactly how that lines up. That is grade 2 in. This will make stone and grade 2, and the grade 2 is being converted there, so that is perfectly fine. The rates on these impact pressures should be fine. I mean, this does not take into account percentage chances. Oh, I'm going to actually need another impact pressure, aren't I? I had a feeling that, wood, huh? Any of that nearby? Yes, there is some. I did not take into account the byproduct grade 1 from the next step in this, in my calculations. So I will take care of that. By adding one more impact crusher. Because this grade gives half back as grade 1, so I need to take that into consideration. So 3 of these can do up to 5 per second. This will produce 3.33, and then half of that as grade 2. It's not actually 3.33, because this is at 16.67. I'm only getting 15 in, so maybe I was right to only have the 2. Because this will only give grade 1 at 50% chance, so it's 0.33 repeating, a third per second. But I don't know if that ends up equating. I'll have 3 just in case. Just in case. Now, each of these is 1.33, a single inserter. Blue inserter should be just fine for that, because that can move like 4 items per second, something like that. 4.6 at a cap bonus of 2. So that is fine. Then these things. Alright, so you need to get out that way, filter out. I suppose I can filter out the G1, which needs to be brought all the way down. And it needs to have the input priority. Oh, hey, right, so that's a change that was made today. So now, if you are... Oh, there we go. There it is! I was like, where's the message? That player is in the way. Well, actually, now, there is a change that was made today, where if you try to place an object, if you click to place an object that is already placed, a duplicate of what you already placed, there used to be a message saying that the thing that's there is in the way. That message no longer is, exists. It no longer exists. It is gone. It has gone kaput. This will be fed in coal from up here. Just cleaning up some of the mess. Just some coal to feed the burners. Don't mind me. Yeah, that will feed into that. 1.33. It's well within the norms. 1. And 1.2. So what I wanted with this, actually, because I will have that, I will also have this. I wanted it, I think, split evenly, but I'm trying to think, because this will make 1.5, not 1.5, that's a 1-to-1, so it's like, what, 1, let's say. Little over 1. Well, these two take 1, and then I want the excess to go up to here. So I'm going to assume, which always has dangers whenever you do that. Assume that everything will be okay. Now I will need to have a borax and graphite in, and how in the world? Oh, that's convenient. Hi. Convenient. Spacing is convenient. I also need an input here. And output, mind you. Of the actual plates. So, sand castings. Borax. Graphite. So, here's my current issue. I have borax and sand castings on a belt on the bus. I've got some graphite going in a couple of places, so I would have to bust that too. So the issue, of course, is that I need borax graphite, not borax sand casting. So I may need to change this a little bit. I want to put down a radar as well. I want to make sure that the radar covers that top area. That will be that. Good to see things. That will help reveal some of the map. Ooh, hello, uranium. Little bit of uranium. So... And I don't have Bob's inserters, so I can't do right angles shenanigans. I'm thinking that that casting unit is going to be one more unit back. Yes, one more unit back. So, this will be graphite, and this will be the borax sand castings. Then, of course, this will be lead. Well, this'll... Yes, this'll be lead. Actually, no. Even belt. Even belt. 6.25. Not 6.25, but, actually, yes. It will be 6.25. So... Da-da? No. Da. That should move things fast enough. Do... Same thing here with this one, although this one's not making a lot of silver. So, 4 lines of belt in and out. And I have to go around to water body. And I have to get up to my bus. Although, not currently using the silver. The silver will be used a bit. If I do a search for silver plates. Silver plates, this is the recipe I'm using. It is used in glass cores, which is going to be used in cladded cores, which is going to be used for copper coating, which is going to be used for Kevlar coating, which is going to be used for niobium iron coating, which is going to be used for optical fibers. Ding, 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 ding. And what are optical fibers used for? They're used for blue science and circuit board 2s. So, ding, ding, ding. Ding, 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 ding. There's what the silver ultimately gets used in. So, the silver is basically reserved for these glass cores at the moment. They can also be used for solder, for a more efficient solder production, but because I will likely need a bunch of glass cores, I think all of the silver that I make is going to end up going in here. Also, I should do regenerative heat exchanger and get this all done and set up. Am I carrying around? I'm not carrying around any stone bricks, unfortunately. That's a little bit sad. Do I have... I at least have the pressure pumps. Not that recipe. That recipe. And then I need that doing those. Oh, and since I now have medium power poles, I can now do that fully. I feel like I'm going to sneeze shortly. We shall see about that. Oh, I don't have any regular pipe anymore. Oh, I'm off. There we go. And that is locally produced hot air. I could pipe in hot air, but why bother? This is so far away anyway. Okay, let's start hooking things up. I'll start with the coal. That can feed the burners. Alright, so that's those. One thing I didn't check is if I'm using more than a full lane. I don't believe so. Oh, that's sad. Alright. Oh, and I'm missing that. Okay, this is also a little off, but there we go. Everything exists. Just need to add I just need to add stones into this, which I don't have any currently on me. But we'll be making quite a few trips. Quite a few trips will be made. Yep, they're voiding the stone. I can remove excess belt. Okay, that I think is that, and that is good. Now once it chews through all the backup, I'll have issues with the acetylene again. This is occasionally working, so I guess that's okay. Eventually this is going to back up from all the lead dust. So, as I head on my way back, I'm seeing that I will need a lot of felt. I'm going to need to clear quite a few rocks. Since I know that there is no way I even remotely have enough felt to make even one of these go all the way back to my bus, I'm not going to bother extending one line, since I know that I'm going to have to do all 4 of them anyway. So, how will I route things? Will I route them to the right or to the left of this water body? Chances are it would be to the left of this water body, so I will actually shorten this a bit. If things are going to the left. Just to make sure that I am not blocked by anything. And there goes the rest of that. So, off I go to get things. I need to put away a whole bunch of these iron piped grounds. Store them somewhere. Oh look, it's yet more tar. I did not even realize that's right near my other tar, and it produces more. I have so much tar on this map, it's a little bit, it's a little weird just how much tar there is on this map. Heck, I've gotten insanely lucky across the board. Yeah, the Amazon thingy went off again. Don't know why, don't understand why. So here's graphite. Some graphite. I also have a little bit of graphite somewhere else on the bus, but we're going to ignore that briefly as I do this. As I put down a thingy that will take a bunch of those away. You are damaged. So clean up that inventory space. I think it's good now. Do I want to, like, maximize how much I'm taking with me? I suppose I should. Oh, stone bricks, right there. Did I have that in my inventory the whole time? Probably, I just was blind and didn't see them. Yeah, that I think is the case. I want to hold on to the burners, I think. Oh, let's just take all of the stuff. Yeah, why not? Here, give me back some things. Voiding items and valves are always nice. Duralumin is nice. I think that's it. Okay. So I have a little bit of work to do here beforehand. Where is my graphite? Which I know I'm making as part of this right here. Want to grab high pressure furnaces wherever I have those. I know I have them somewhere. That's destructive distillation and ball mills. This is high pressure furnaces. I'm blaming UPS lag on that. Also, back it up. Back it up. You there. Yeah, I'm sort of only making 50 per second on acetylene right now. When I need a lot more than that. And apparently the only way to get acetylene is either through Tholins or through this. Tholins is 3.5 per... Not... No, it's not 3.5. What was I thinking? It's 35 over 6. That's 5.8 per second per Tholin plant Mark 1. Yeah. Beautiful, beautiful. No. Never gonna consider doing that. Let's see, and then this is calcium carbide. I'm producing 4 HPFs, 5 per second. It's apparently at ratio. I don't know why there's a huge backup of it. It should be consuming it as fast as it's shoving it in. Also, it's apparently not getting any coat. What happened to you? What happened here? There is an issue in... I don't know. I don't know. What was that problem? Power's holding steady. Was it too much syngas? I thought I was overflow burning it. I am overflow burning it, so... Too much. Ah, that's it. That's it, right there. Right there. Right there. That's it. Too much ash! It appears as if I have an insufficient number of burners. I hope that's a little bit more sufficient. I do hope. and pray that that is a little bit more sufficient. Now, this is going to be a little bit awkward, I guess is how I'm going to put it when I do the graphite. I want to extend the acetylene. I definitely want to do that at some point. I have enough of these to feed just the... No, I have 5 of these. I have 2 per second, so I have enough to actually feed 2 of these, so I can make a copy and paste of that, which then would allow me to do another 4. But even then, that's still not enough, because I then would still have to do a doubling of this. And then another doubling of this. And then another doubling of this. This would give 200 per second on the acetylene. Pyanodon, if you ever do watch this part of the VOD, this is ridiculous. Just want to throw that out there. This is ridiculous. Acetylene should not require this many machines. Just straight up, it should not require this many machines. To the point where I really just don't want to do this. I don't want to scale like this. This is absurd. It's absurd. Now, calcium carbide only comes from this recipe from lime and coke. Lime only comes from this recipe from limestone and coke. Limestone comes from a few different recipes, of which this one from the soil extractor is what I'm currently doing. Apparently there's also this. I could turn my slacked lime and some salt into limestone and sodium hydroxide. I don't know why I would do that, though. But in terms of the sheer number per second, so that's 2 per 5. This is 2 per 6. And I don't have access to the other recipes, so... This would be convenient in excavation too, but I don't have that. Because this would be 20 limestone in 2.4 seconds. That's significantly more. Of course, it comes at the cost of coal gas, lubricant, and drill heads. I would do this because it's faster. Simply because it's faster than having to put so many soil extractors down. Yeah, this is just obscene and absurd. However, before continuing on, I do want to take a brief break, stretch the legs, use the restroom, and all of that jazz. So I shall be back shortly. I have returned from the break. Now, I think what I've decided, I'm not going to touch this for now, because there's simply too many other concerns that I have that I need to address. In particular, I need to get to actually doing what I said I was going to do earlier, which is run the graphite and the borax and the sand castings down and get the line of the lead plates and silver up. What I will do beforehand, though, as I run into my other cars, what I will do is I will get some more of this, because this, let's see, this is only 3 here. is producing 1 per second on the graphite. Now, this was changed at one point relatively recently, I think, to increase the amounts of graphite given, or something was tweaked with the graphite. But that was back when I made, like, right after I made this line, when working on the very first Molten setup that I had when I did Molten Iron. Because the graphite, or did I even do it for the iron? No, I didn't even do it for the iron. I did it for the aluminium pulp. That's what I needed it for. I needed it for the aluminium. Which, that came well after this over here, which was part of the Circuit 1 chain. So, the graphite is different in terms of the actual ratios. Oop, that was not intended. That needs to exist. Absolutely needs to exist. That is a very important line. I'm going to add probably another 3 here onto this. So now we'll have 6 sitting here. Then I need to actually do the outputs correctly. Let's see, you are 2 out per second. Which means you are fully capable of existing just fine, like so. Okay. What am I going to do with all of this? Of course, get the thingies there going. Yeah, go. That will have that operational. So, do I really want to, like, shift, like, send it up to its position on the bus, and then send it over, down, to get over here, because I need to get it over here. That seems like an awful idea. Terrible, terrible idea. How much do I even... I wish I could click on machines and it shows me the recipe information, but I can't. Because I want to click on this. Instead, I have to actually make an electric arc furnace. Means I need to grab a mining drill. Drills. Plural. Excuse me? There we go. You. Tell me. You need half per second. Half. Interesting. So that would mean sending in the output of 1.5. So I can split off, frankly, right here. Oh, and you do make an even number, so this should get evenly balanced. Yes, yes, autosave. It's been another hour. That could just go down. Right there. Maybe not right there. If I'm going to be scaling, I need to do this in a better spot. Because if I'm going to be scaling outwards on these vacuum tubes. This is the line to draw down. I need a car. I'm gonna grab this car instead of the one over here because I'd have to thread it down. Well, I was going to sneeze. Then it went away. It disappeared. It disappeared from me. Alright, belt. First of many. Let's do this thing. La-di-di. Ow. Di-di-di-da. Really looking forward to Blue Science at some point. Now, I will note, even though Pyanodon says that a lot of people quit at Circuit 2s, I do recognize that in vanilla, Blue Science is sort of the big milestone, shall we say. It is a big step up in complexity versus what it took to get to green. So, and then what came after, clearly, wasn't quite as bad because of what you needed to set up for your infrastructure to get to the Blue Science. I see parallels in this mod set, this overhaul, in that the major gatekeeper is that of Circuit 2s to get you into Blue Science. The things that you need for the Circuit 2s are things that you need for Blue Science because Blue Science requires Circuit 2s. Isn't that amazing how that works? I think that's amazing how that works. So, yeah, I think that a lot of people quit in vanilla, but in their initial playthroughs. I think that is a point at Blue Science, getting to Blue Science, where people start to get a little bit overwhelmed, and that is clearly the case in Pyanodons as well. People get really overwhelmed. Now, my graphite was going to be this lane. So yeah, just my observation there. And I think those that do make it through the extra complexity that is Circuit 2s end up finishing the game. I would imagine that if you had the willpower to make it through Circuit 2s here, that it wouldn't be as big of an issue finishing off the game. Now, how do I want to route the next things? I need a line with which to draw of this. Can you work You can work. Ew. 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 I need to move that over and down so that I can get the 4 gap there and then jump again, because I have to move this out of my way. Otherwise, I can then bring this in from here. So that means I will want to be on the other side. Oh boy. I can do this transition right here. So for now, it can stay as is with the current positioning. Next line heading up. And yeah, I'm covering over kimberlite or whatever the heck it is, but yeah, I'm not mining that yet. Alright, here we go. This now needs to do this. I just wanted to zoom out so that I had a bit of lead time in case I were to run into any rocks. I don't think I'm going to have enough belt to run the other 2 lines as it is. Get out of the car here. Alright, so as I had said, I need to shift that over so that I can do that. Oh, that's also going to be a issue. I guess I'm going to run this in like so. Oh, but then I have this to deal with too. Ugh. Why did I have to pick this spot? You know what? It's probably better. I'll bring this in here. I'll pull it like that. And there it goes. So that is that run. Such a big difference between the shiny stuffs. Okay, next. Where's the lead coming in? So, where is lead on the bus currently? It is here. It is here. What is on this fourth line? Is anything on this fourth line? I don't think anything is on that fourth line. So that fourth line is officially going to be silver. So lead and silver. Now, what I'm thinking is I've got some space right out here that I can use for both input lines. So I will use that as the input lines. I'm going to do this. It'll be a little odd, but you will see over here. Don't need to go all the way over here. You'll see that it will work out in the end. I am going to have to do a little shenaniganry, unless I do this right over here. I can do it here. These are actually going in the opposite direction. Are you a belt? Technically, yes, you are. Belt. Belt of what? Stuff that only exists further down the bus. So, this is just an empty hole that I don't actually need to use undergrounds for whatsoever. Alright, well, obviously that's gonna be there. And go, I guess, in the opposite direction, even though I'm not using any lead, I don't think, down there. And you go onto the fourth line. Oh, that is... I don't see myself using anything further back, so I'll leave that as is. Alright. But I will do this properly. Maybe. Maybe I'll do this properly. Or will I? Bleh. This is ugly. Silver. Okay, now I need to remember that silver is on the left and lead is on the right. I think that's how it is currently set up. Further down at the origination. Which, by the way, as soon as all the sand castings and borax make their way over, I will start having lead plates and silver being produced. Off we go! Aw. Stupid rock. Stupid rock's in the way. Ow. Again, remind me not to really ever use alien biomes again. Or at least, like, try to do something about these rocks that exist, because F rocks. Just straight up F the rocks. All of them. The castings haven't made their way all the way over here yet. Can I actually see them? Yes, they've made their way at least that far, so they should be making their appearance soon. Then it's the silver. Yeah, lead, silver. Excuse me, why did you just, like, get kicked off of the belt suddenly? Go, go, go! I actually had enough belt to run all 4 of these. I am surprised. Up, up, and away. See, sane people would be using trains at this point, but, I have never claimed to be a train person. Or sane. I think that's not the furthest outpost we've ever had. This copper is the furthest, I think. Or maybe this tar out here might technically be the furthest. The quartz, the borax out there is pretty far away, too. This copper isn't even being mined, so I don't even know why I haven't gone over there to destroy it yet. Speaking of destruction, I'll have to redo iron soon-ish. Soonish. So yeah, organic solvent time, maybe? It might be organic solvent time. So, organic solvent. I wanted to do this recipe because it also gives some ammonia, and it's made in oil refineries. So, oil refineries, oh, that's gonna need stainless steel. Never mind. Never mind. That's gonna need stainless steel. Alright. There's an argument for this one. What is this come from? Nothing I am currently doing. Stainless steel is the ultimate buzzkill material. Well, I'm hesitant on the stainless steel just because I would have to set up an entire nickel chain to do it. I can do molten steel right now. Like, at any time, I could just swap over one of my molten steels to, or my molten iron to a molten steel, or straight up just, yeah, just switching one machine is all I need to do on molten steel, which you can see here. It's molten iron and oxygen and coke, all of which are there because that, yeah, guess what's required for molten iron? Yeah. Or better yet, I would, yeah, I would change a cast. I would I would remove a casting machine that's casting plates from molten iron so that I could then use that molten iron to produce molten steel in this machine that makes the molten steel. The issue being in the molten stainless steel, I need to make sulfur mines. I need to make nickel. I can make the ferrochromium alloy because I have iron and chromium. I can make niobium plates. I am currently making niobium plates. I have the copper. I have phosphate rock out the rear end. The only thing missing here is nickel. So if I look at the wherever the heck nickel, why is nickel? No, that's zinc. Where is nickel plate? Why is it not on this page? Nickel plate here. Currently I can only do nickel through ore or grade 1. Something tells me grade 1 is through jaw crushers. Grade 1 in jaw crushers. Absolutely. And it gives stones. So, what do I need to mine it? What's the gas? Taking bets. What's the gas? I did say that once I finished this lead, that I would move on to replacing pipes and all that, but I sort of need more organic solvent so I could actually make enough pipes to do that, so I will be doing this. I mean, this is like the intended recipe, I think. I could just make more bone meal and send some activated carbon aromatics in to actually make this. Why don't I just do that? Why don't I just do that? But I can do that while planning nickel. I'm carrying around some mining drills as well. So let's have a look-see at the nickel down here. Oh, hey, the car is red health. What is required on a gas to mine nickel? Bits refined syngas. We're going to have words. It's regular syngas. Okay, that is fine. That is fine. What's the mining time? 200%. So, yet again, another one of those situations where it's 60 drills for a full yellow belt. don't think I'm going to need that much. We shall see. Then I have to think about how... In order to do the stainless steel, I would have to move the plates from where I make them, cough cough, here, from here to here-ish. Unless I move the entire ore mining iron operation to here. Unless I move my entire mining operation over here. Which is going to happen at some point. That much is pretty inevitable. I think I'm just going to move it over here. But doing that without robots, I don't think so. I don't think so. That, I don't want to do that. Not before robots, anyway. So, syngas, huh? Let's see if I can get 2 lanes of 15 on each, or 2 belts with 15 on each lane. Oh yeah, that's real easy. Okay. Now, if only I could draw a straight line. That's the real battle here. So, this will be a full single yellow belt. I don't think I can do... There's not enough space for 30 straight. I don't know, maybe here in the middle. I'm avoiding these low density outer edges. You can sort of tell the difference in the resource density. I see 4 distinct rings of density, at least 4 distinct graphics on the density. Alright, well, I just did that just to start that process so that I am at least reminded that I will be doing it. But there is 45 minutes left in the stream today, so... Big, beautiful ore patches, yes, beautiful ore patches. Let me think, actually. What do I want to do immediately next? I should be able to see... There's... those. Oh, right, the silver's not going to move. I need to go back because I need to throw in some stone bricks for the hot air to get the hot air to move. And that will be silver. Yeah, I'll set up the organic solvent through aromatics and activated carbon and bone meal, even though it won't be my long-term solution, or it might end up being my long-term solution. We shall see. I just wanted to have something to do with acetone that I'm producing, but this might be the recipe I go with longer term. We shall see. Definitely do not have enough acetylene for any of this, though. So, keeping this balanced is the biggest pain in the rear ever. I actually really hate trying to keep this balanced, which is why I do things such as this. So that no matter how much I shove into here, it's always going to have an outlet. Now, granted, I only need 2.2 per second, so it really doesn't matter how inefficient this process is. At all. It does not matter how inefficient this is. I can pretty much say I will at least get 2.2. And there is the first silver coming down the line. That is nice. Now, what I like about this setup is that the lead can back up and it won't impact whether or not I'm producing silver. Similarly, the silver can back up and I'll still be producing lead. They're not going to impact the production, and one won't impact the other. Because there are some situations, sometimes, where you end up with the issue of if you're backed up on one thing, it prevents the production of another thing. So I'm glad that's not the case there. Also, that is a lot of lead plates, and the lead plates will guaranteed be backed up for quite some time. So how about actually making some demand for them at some point? Yeah, I think I need to add some demand for this beautiful lead. I have a little bit of demand on lead, that's why it's on the bus in the first place now. I can also go and kill off the inefficient lead production, which should help. I also have to, really, rocks, out of the way. Oh, that I didn't even notice. Didn't even see that when running the line. Okay, I have to make my way all the way up. Because as you can see, now I need to start moving this lead in the opposite direction. Even though I don't see myself using lead in this direction anytime soon, if ever. It gives me something to do. Alright, I'm going to arbitrarily say this ends here. Time to fill the inventory full of lead. Oops. Do not want to lose that one. That pipe. So these originally were copper producing foundries. When I no longer needed the copper here, I decided, hey, let's make it lead instead. Because I was incredibly lazy and didn't want to break this all down at that point. Speaking of which, I just did a bad thing, I think. Because do I still need the hot air? Yes, I do. I need it up there for that. You know, let's actually do this. Run this separately. That gets the hot air up, because the hot air is not being used at all here anymore. I think. Oh, the hot air to the bus is here. Yeah, I'll do this. Yeah, and you go to nowhere. So that is, as they say, that. Like how this machine wasn't even working in the first place because it had copper being held. So that entire machine that was supposed to be making lead wasn't even making lead in the first place. Didn't even matter in the end, just because of how little lead we actually really need at the moment. Ooh, I do not want to touch the acetylene lines. They are still required for what little titanium I'm currently mining. That'll be one of the next things that I want to work on, is the improved titanium production. But depends on how much I really need. I don't think I'll be needing a ton of it soon. Reclaim a lot of this land and stuff. This acetylene pipe can die because it was feeding the lead. In fact, where does the acetylene split off? It splits off right there. Gosh, it's so disappointing about the niobium pipe, by the way. About this niobium pipe. Yeah, it has a huge pipe to ground distance, but the fact that it holds 400 units instead of 100 is not great with current fluid mechanics. I don't really feel like having a fourth of the throughput available through that pipe. If that's how that works, I don't even know. I know it's going to be less throughput than if the pipe were to hold only 100 units in it at a time. Alright, let's grab shove stuff in. That's that cleaned up a bit. There's lots of room for additional cleanup, but for now, I think we're fine. Anyway, where is my nearest car? All the way up there. So, congratulations, that's all of that taken care of. As I peel all the random pipes that I've run into with my car that are nearby. I should have a bunch of spare bone meal. And basically a full pipe of aromatics. Yeah, bad habit of leaving cars all over the place. I mean, as long as there's always a car available, eventually you'll build yourself enough cars to always have one somewhere. And you sort of have to play that way with certain mods. Like, I know Crastorio, if you ever play with that one, it's basically impossible to pick up cars because the mining time is increased so high for cars that you basically just can't pick them up again once you place them. So, of course, you're just going to leave cars all over the place. So, I'm going to be using my stuff here. Now, is there a convenient spot? I think that I'm going to use either of these locations. What is the building that is required for this? Chemical plants. That is perfectly fine. I think I put chemical plants in a box somewhere, but I'm nowhere near that box right now, so have some more chemical plants. That makes this relatively simple. I'm actually going to replace this. So this is rubber, by the way. Grab chemical plants. I should probably just start sticking these buildings on my thingy. So this is going to need aromatics in. And activated carbon. So, how am I going to go about doing this? Give me some regular pipe. These can be directly next to each other, by the way. How much is produced per second per building? Oh, and that's a lot of input on the bone meal, so chances are I can't even feed one of these at the moment with the bone meal, so let's ignore that for the moment. So that'll be this stuff out. Do I even have this run all the way up here? I don't... Doesn't look like it, so I have to run this organic solvent wherever I have it. I'm pretty sure the organic solvent I have going at least to the turn here. This is the organic solvent line. Yeah, I could use niobium, but Bleh. I'll use it when I really need it. Alright, a little further. Welcome to the party, some organic solvent. Activated carbon will need to be brought down, and aromatics will need to be brought over. Now, the aromatics I know is like right here, so I'm not worried about aromatics. You know what? Screw this. If I'm going to use niobium, this is the point. Right here. Where it becomes useful. To use some niobium. Same with this. It's like, why bother having all of that? Oh, that is perfect. Oh, I couldn't ask for better. I could go the full way, but meh. I'm just using it to avoid inefficiently using the iron pipes, pretty much. I could, quote, upgrade everything else too that's nearby, but then we'd be here forever. So 2 inputs. Yeah, that is so very much on the, bone meal. In fact, that's so much on the bone meal, that's more than a single thingy. So 6 in, it said? Per thing. The 3 long-handeds will be fine. But even the one blue is a 4.62-ish on a capacity bonus of 2 normally. But that's chest to chest. If we're talking on a yellow belt with a cap bonus of 2, it's 4.44 on a blue inserter. It's 2.35 for long-handeds. So that is why I need to use the long-handeds here. All that just to feed in enough of this bone meal. Why bother jumping anything if I don't need to jump anything? Oh, that's unfortunate. There you go. Also, I should tell it to do output priority as the other side, because it gets used... Where does it get used? Am I already at the point of here? Here. So it's getting used for this. For green science. I'm not currently making green science, so it's fine. I'm not currently making green science because I have all of my green science. Ay, 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 this is bad. Whoops. Follow the pipe, buddy. Follow the pipe. Goodbye, car. Nice knowing you. Now, to remember which freaking lane is the activated carbon, if it even has a lane. Oh, of course it would be not in sight. Wait, where am I producing activated carbon? I'm using it in the production of zinc chloride. Da 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 da. Let's get that there. Because I need to actually be able to see my stuff on the map. Oh yeah, zinc processing. Hi. Hi, zinc. Nice to see you. And then activated carbon is right here. I have excess because I needed refined syngas. The refined syngas is doing absolutely nothing right now because I need organic solvent. Oh, don't you love how circular this is? So, I need refined syngas to mine the niobium, right? So I need to mine the niobium. I'm only using 75 units per second, I think, out of this. Ultimately. The thing is, to actually process and to make the niobium into plates, I need the organic solvent. And sure enough, let's see, that's 3.75, that's apparently 3.94 if all of those were operating, so good thing I only really need 6. 3.38, that does leave me with a little tiny bit of excess if everything were operating at full efficiency, so this is why I am only doing 8 or 6 of these. I need to bring in another carbon. I think I have more than 3 per second on this, but what about 1.5? Oh, I have 3. Okay. Theoretically, I could double this. I'm apparently only carrying around 5 high-pressure furnaces. And don't want to have what I need to make another one, because it needs... But it only needs iron and copper. If I do this... Which, clearly, as you can see, I am doing this. This is going to involve... having to run a lot more belt. I'm gonna leave this as is right now. The reason why is because I'm actually really only making... Well, I'm making... Out of this area of coke production, I am making 3.2 yellow belts worth of coke. So yes, it's 4 to 4, but it's actually the throughput is 3.2. One of these lanes isn't fully connected. This top lane right here. It ends right there. So if I bring this lane in, yes, I could have a second throughput belt, full throughput belt, assuming everything gets used of the activated carbon. So just wanna make sure that that gets borne in mind, that that's a thing. I think I also want to do a belt balance here before splitting it off and onto the bus, which, for the record, hate that. I now have to use this lane. Really looking forward to finally getting my hands on red undergrounds at some point. Not looking forward to redoing my entire bus for the red underground, for the red belts, but yeah, maybe I should look forward more to the blue belts. That would be better, I think. That would probably be best. So these are all moving now, just because they need to. They'll be filling both the other lane here and then this belt. Okay, now to run this activated carbon down. It's, oh, so sad that it's covering over that beautiful uranium reserve. Let's see, I think I've gone down far enough. Maybe? No. No, I have to go down to here. I'm not gonna have enough belt. No nose. Not enough belt. By the way, rubber. This is a much more efficient recipe that I should probably be doing instead. So this is iron plate, small parts, and belt. Circuits, huh? I was gonna, like, say, hey, have some belt, and then have some stuffs. Oh, that's the carbon black. That's not the rubber. That is not the rubber. Oh, and I apparently used a loader on this. I keep forgetting I have loaders. That I should be using loaders. Is that a gap before? That is not a gap before. Is that a gap before? That is a gap before. Good to know. Good to know. Hi. So, how'd you like belts? What's the, production here? Yeah, that's pretty good. So, I heard you like loaders. I heard you like undergrounds. Well, have I got the deal for you? If I can remember how to actually do things properly. Let there be powers. Is one even going to be fast enough? I don't... Hell no, one is not going to be fast enough. Two is not going to be fast enough. So, I heard you like these things called loaders. Yeah, that's fast enough. Granted, I'm limited to 0.25 on rubber, so that's gonna slow things down. But this is a more efficient recipe. I mean, this is more efficient than the other recipe for those. There is that. Alright, you are the carbon. Activated carbon. that up. And there we go. So that, theoretically, will be more organic solvent to feed the niobium. Oh, that was on the top, not on the bottom. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Now, just as soon as stuff starts rolling in, let's watch it roll in. Here it comes. Question mark. There it is. There it is. There it is. Here comes that activated carbon. Definitely have large demand for the belts. Yes, on a bus that keeps getting wider and wider and wider and wider, despite how many outposts I also have. It's like, hey, look at my factory, singular factory. There are no outposts here, just one big factory. Alright, feed it. Feed it with the things. There we go. Organic solvent is being made, and it's being sent away as fast as it's being made. That's pretty much what I want to see, actually. Yeah. So then I can look over here, and I can see, hey, it's stuff. Stuff is moving. These now have the organic solvent that's needed. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Hello. What happened in the last hour? Oh. Yeah, so as soon as I started doing that, I started consuming some more aromatics. I think that caused some issues. Because I sort of am making a bit of power through aromatics. A little bit of power is coming through aromatics, so something is shifting off and on. These... Not enough coke. But you're getting coke from that other mechanism. Here, let's feed you with an actual real coke line. Get some actual coke in here, so that this doesn't choke. Definitely don't want you choking for lack of coke. But it looks like even at peak production, I'm still not making enough to satisfy all of the buildings that are moving that I've been adding recently, so I guess I know what I'm working on the next stream. I need yet more power. Yeah, these definitely have enough combustion mixture from 3 of these. The real question is, do I have enough hydrogen to feed more? I think I have the syngas. Pretty sure I have an excess of syngas right now. I could expand that. Because, yes, I'm actually burning some syngas for power. I'm burning hydrogen, syngas, and aromatics. In which the aromatics are in constant usage now. I'm unsure if I'm backing up on the aromatics anymore. I could be producing more. Don't know if I have enough tar. I should switch. I have activated carbon now, so I could switch my coal gas to easier to do it this way. Coal gas to this recipe. I have zinc chloride, I have heavy oil. I can do this recipe now, which will give me quite a fair bit of coal gas. I'll need a number of FTS reactors, though, to do that. That will replace this gasifier line, which is consuming tar to produce coal gas. And then I can use that tar to produce more aromatics, I guess. And more syngas, and I can use that for power. Because fortunately, I have heavy oil and I have zinc chloride now. Huzzah! Huzzah! And all that good stuff. And the steam will go back into water through cooling towers, it looks like. So that, as they say, is that. Now, I should be having this start to fill. Yep. That is starting to fill. In fact, I am making more niobium plates than what these will consume. Yay? Question mark? Yay? Yeah, and something is stopping it. That one, it's either going to be the aromatics or the syngas. I think it's the aromatics. If I look down here, hover over this. That's not running out of combustion mixture, so it is the syngas, actually, that is briefly running out. It is not the aromatics. And the reason these are running out is because 2 does not feed 2, 3 feeds 2. So I will need to add another powerhouse here, and that would be able to produce enough to feed 2, and I believe I do have enough syngas to do that. The issue being, does 3 work there? Where else do I need to go looking back where I currently am? It takes 4 cooling towers for 3 powerhouses to properly deal with the steam. And that feeds 2 combustion towers evenly. If you have a 3rd combustion tower, it'll consume all of the combustion mixture. I'd rather have the 2 constantly working than 3 that aren't constantly working. Doing that alone might... Well, just doing that extra single powerhouse on the syngas will only make it so that I constantly have 100 megawatts, or 101 megawatts. I need to deal with this extra, like, 20-ish that I'm apparently demanding that I'm not satisfying, so that will be what I do next time. Now, we have reached the end of today's stream. I will just briefly review what got done today. So, niobium pipes are being made, specifically the underground pipes, because they are very good on their underground distance, although I really don't like their capacity of 400 units of fluid, because that actually causes a lot of problems with the pipe throughput. It does not increase it, it decreases it by a lot. And there's no way of truly increasing the pressure in the system to utilize the potential excess throughput from having 400 units, which is unfortunate. You can't currently do it in the game. So, yeah, there's that. And even then, I think that it's still problematic, even if you do have a pump that has much higher pressure, quote, pressure behind it. But anyhoozle, the next thing was setting up lead. So I set up lead today, proper lead through lead mining, and then processing it into the various stuffs and things, and into plates, and into silver, which, as you can see, I have lead plates coming in. All that's going up here, and then somewhere over the rainbow, I should have a little bit of silver. Wonderful, beautiful, glorious silver. And this is all currently being backed up, or being bottlenecked, I should say, by my production of the acetylene, which unfortunately doesn't have all that many ways of making. You really are stuck on acetylene with having to make just a ton of buildings. It's rather annoying, actually, how much you need to make to do proper acetylene, because I need 150 units per second just to feed the lead mining that I'm currently mining, let alone how much I'll need when I do the exact same thing with titanium later, because lead and titanium need acetylene, and acetylene is just not that great on the amount per second. I personally would say triple the output per gasifier of acetylene. Double to triple minimum, because it's just crazy. 4 machines produce 50 per second, 50 units per second, and I need 150, so 3 times as much just to feed the lead, and then I need even more to feed titanium. Ugh. Anyway, next time is dealing with power, because I need more power. Oh, and yeah, I did random other things as well today, so yeah, with that, again, I would like to thank you all for watching. This has been Otaku Showboat, and I will be back tomorrow with more of the Angels playthrough as that approaches the end of the game, ever so slowly, but still, it is inevitable that it will be the end sooner rather than later, probably a couple weeks, within 2 weeks. I keep saying that, though. Within 2 weeks, a week later I'll say within 2 weeks, and then a week later I'll say within 2 weeks, but it will end, and then I'll be doing Pyanodons daily. I will be back with more of the Pyanodons playthrough, this playthrough, on Sunday. I will see you all then.